4 seconds. That's how long pure panic lasts after you step out of a plane at 13,000 feet. Your brain screams, your training kicks in, and somewhere before the chute opens, you realize that was only number 7. We ranked about 10 extreme adventures ordinary people can book, survive, and argue about afterward. We judge them by terror, cost, fitness, and the reality the brochure leaves out. From desert slopes that punish you with heat more than speed, to a Norwegian cliff where the hardest part is proving you belong. Here's what each one actually feels like. Starting at number 10. In the 10th place, sandboarding down the Erg Chebi Dunes near Merzouga, Morocco, serves as the most accessible entry on our list. With an honest terror rating of 5 out of 10, you do not need elite athletic skills to glide down these massive walls of Saharan sand. But the glossy brochures fail to mention that the real endurance test is the brutal desert environment, not the descent. A typical trip costs between $60 and $250, depending on whether you book a basic rental or a full vehicle transfer. The actual ride is over in seconds, leaving you to spend hours gasping in 90-degree heat, fighting loose footing on the steep climb back up, and digging sand out of your teeth and gear. You might expect high-speed thrills, but you will mostly remember the suffocating heat and how exhausting it is to haul yourself back to the summit. Before booking, check your guide's safety briefing, confirm their medical evacuation plan, and verify your insurance covers off-road activities before heading out. Number 9. Volcano boarding at Cerro Negro in Nicaragua takes the concept of sledding and drags it through a terrain of raw black volcanic rock. This slope is a fast-moving, highly abrasive ash field that bumps the honest terror score up to a solid 6 out of 10. For $40 to $120, you hike up an active volcano carrying a heavy wooden board, suit up in a protective outfit, and hurtle down a steep 41-degree pitch. Fitness demands are moderate, but balance matters far more than brute strength when the ground starts sliding. The one thing nobody tells you, though, is the sheer, invasive power of the grit. Halfway down, you realize the real souvenir is the black volcanic ash blasting into your clothes, skin, and camera lenses. The run feels like a mix of a high-speed dare and a physical punishment once the dust invades every zipper and seam. Before booking, verify your guide's safety briefings. Confirm their emergency transport, and ensure your insurance covers active volcanic zones. 8th place, Great White Cage diving in Gans Bay, South Africa, drops you straight into the open ocean, where fear becomes a matter of pure proximity. It carries an honest terror rating of 7 out of 10, driven by the sheer presence of apex predators, rather than any physical exertion. For a price between $150 and $450, almost anyone can book this adventure, as the fitness requirements are low to moderate. In reality, the greatest challenge is not the sharks, but the boat itself. The glossy brochures never mention that the cage constantly slams against the hull while you wait, making most travelers far more seasick than scared. I still remember gripping the cold metal bars, my stomach churning from the relentless ocean swell long before a shadow finally emerged from the deep. It is a test of endurance, spent shivering in a wetsuit, waiting for a split-second glimpse of a predator. Before you book this marine encounter, always verify the operator's accreditation with the maritime authorities, check the vessel's safety equipment, and confirm local conservation regulations. Make sure your travel insurance covers deep water activities, and pay close attention to the crew's briefing discipline before stepping into the water. Number 7. Tandem skydiving remains the universal benchmark for recreational terror. For a price between $180 and $350, almost anyone can sign a liability waiver, strap themselves to an instructor, and ride a loud turboprop plane up to 10,000 feet. The physical demands are remarkably low, making it accessible to almost any traveler. The mental tax, however, is immense, pushing the terror scale to a solid 8 out of 10. The one thing nobody tells you is that the worst part is not the descent itself, It is the 4 seconds of absolute blinding panic immediately after stepping out of the open door. In those 4 seconds, your body accelerates to a terminal velocity of 120 miles per hour before your brain even registers the training. My own memory of my first jump is defined by that exact sequence. 1 heavy push, 4 seconds of pure paralyzing fear, and then the parachute logic finally settling my mind. Before booking your flight, make sure to verify that the facility is a fully licensed drop zone. Always confirm your instructor's credentials, double-check the parachute rig inspection tags, and ask about any age or medical restrictions. Above all, listen to your safety briefing and follow the landing instructions exactly. Number 6. Bungee jumping at Volcano's Bridge in South Africa distills extreme travel into 1 walk, 1 pause, and 1 irreversible step. It carries an honest terror rating of 8 out of 10, with the fear intensely concentrated during the long walk across the wire mesh and that final step. For a cost between $100 and $250, almost anyone with basic mobility can book this, as the physical fitness demands are remarkably low. But nobody tells you that the waiting on the platform is what actually breaks you. I could handle the physics of the cord, but standing on that concrete edge, staring down 216 meters into the gorge, my brain completely revolted. The pause felt far longer than the actual drop, as if my body had decided to launch a formal protest against my booking. When you finally plunge, the rush is over in seconds, but you are left with physical bruises from the leg straps and a surreal, vertigo-inducing hang above the river. Before taking the leap, verify the operator's safety record, inspect the harness double redundancy procedures, and confirm how local wind conditions affect operations. Your standard travel policy will not cover this high-impact activity, so secure a specialized insurance rider before you step out onto the span. Number 5. Freediving around Apo Island and Moalboal in the Philippines flips the script on what extreme looks like. Instead of screaming into the wind, this sport demands absolute suffocating silence. With an honest terror score sitting at a deceptive 7 out of 10, the challenge is entirely internal. Guided daily sessions cost $100 to $400, and certification costs extra. Anyone with moderate fitness and basic swimming ability can try it. But the serene postcard-perfect surface lies to you. Below, you have no mechanical safety net, just your own lungs coping with atmospheric pressure. Nobody tells you about the sharp equalization pain clawing at your ears, or the sudden risk of a blackout. This is where the adventure stops feeling like a wild amusement park ride and transforms into a strict technical skill test. I remember the quiet being the most unsettling part. Looking up at the calm, sunny surface, you realize how far away safety really is. Before you plunge, treat this like the high-stakes discipline it is. Always verify your operator's safety protocols and ask about their training pathways, specifically looking for AIDA or CMAS credentials. Make sure a qualified safety diver shadows your descent. Confirm your insurance covers breath-hold diving. Complete a medical check to ensure your ears and lungs can handle the pressure. Number 4. Trekking to Everest Base Camp in Nepal proves that an extreme adventure does not need a single dramatic instant to wear you down to your absolute core. It registers an honest terror score of 6 out of 10. Because the danger accumulates slowly through altitude strain and physical exhaustion, rather than a single leap. Booking this multi-week trek will cost you anywhere from $600 to over $2,500, depending on whether you go self-supported or hire a fully guided crew. The fitness requirement here is exceptionally high, demanding that you walk for hours every single day as the air grows progressively thinner. But what nobody tells you beforehand is how emotionally brutal this trek is. While the physical climbing is tough, the real test is the mental grind of walking day after day, sleeping in freezing, drafty tea houses, and dealing with the constant headache of altitude stress. In my own experience, the hardest moment was not some dramatic mountain hazard. It was the quiet afternoon when the bone-deep fatigue simply became the new normal, and I realized I still had days of walking ahead. Before booking your flight to Kathmandu, treat your planning seriously. You must verify your acclimatization schedule, secure your permits, assess your guide's experience, and confirm that your specialized travel insurance covers helicopter evacuation above 5,000 meters. Coming to the top 3, Hanakapiai Beach on Kauai's rugged Nepali coast is a beautiful trap. Unlike screaming down a volcano, the terror here carries an honest 8 out of 10 precisely because the danger remains entirely invisible until the current changes. For a cost of $20 to $200 depending on your hiking permits, shuttle transport, and whether you hire local guide support, you can access this remote crescent of sand. The fitness requirement is low to moderate, just to walk the muddy 2-mile trail. But once you face the water, exceptional swimming ability is the absolute bare minimum for survival. Nobody tells you that the water can look like a glassy, inviting swimming pool, while hiding a lethal shore break and rip currents that drag people straight into the open Pacific. I remember standing on that wet sand, watching the quiet, shimmering surface, and feeling a sharp rising suspicion. It is the kind of quiet that makes you more nervous than a loud engine or a massive drop, because there is no safety net, no rescue crew, and the nearest emergency medical help is a helicopter rescue ride away. Before you even dip a toe in these waters, you must treat this environment with absolute respect. Check the daily marine forecasts, understand the harsh rescue realities of a remote Hawaiian valley, and assume that even a calm summer day can hide deadly undercurrents. If you are not an elite cold water ocean swimmer, do not go past your knees, and remember that paying for experienced local guides is worth every single dollar to keep you on the safe side of the shoreline. In second place, whitewater rafting on the Zambezi River below Victoria Falls turns adventure into organized chaos at a massive commercial scale. Instead of a single sudden scare like a skydive, the Zambezi delivers a relentless series of physical hits. This pushes the honest terror rating to a violent 9 out of 10. The entry price of $120 to $400 makes it accessible to anyone who can pay, but the high fitness demand means you need real physical resilience. Once you enter the gorge, the raft does not care about your feelings, and it certainly does not care how calm you tried to be once the flips, swims, and chaotic recoveries begin. I still remember the heavy, cumulative exhaustion. Every single rapid felt less like an activity and more like a fresh, frantic negotiation with wild water. Trying to hold onto the rope while screaming over the roar of the river. Nobody tells you how violent it actually gets. Getting tossed, losing your gear, and collecting massive purple bruises are just standard parts of the day. You have to trust your crew, follow every shouted drill command, and accept that you are going to take a beating. Before you sign up, you must run through the safety checklist. Always ask the operator about their specific rescue protocols, verify their guide certifications, and pay close attention during the mandatory safety drills. Remember that river conditions change drastically depending on the season, so check local water levels, secure specialized insurance, and ensure you are fitted with certified high-impact safety gear. And finally, in first place, base jumping at Cherog, Norway, represents the absolute limit of what a traveler can realistically attempt. This massive 984-meter cliff, plunging straight into the cold waters of Lysefjord, carries an honest terror rating of 10 out of 10. The hardest part of this adventure is not conquering your fear, but proving you are legally qualified to step off the edge. This is an expert-only threshold where the glossy travel marketing stops and raw, unyielding competence takes over. There is no simple tourist ticket or package price here. Your expenses are tied to securing membership in the local Cherog Base Club, purchasing specialized gear, and funding the journey to the remote outpost of Lysebotn. While physical fitness is necessary, technical progression is the real gatekeeper. To obtain a jump permit from the Norwegian Civil Aviation Authority, you must present a logbook proving at least 250 skydives and 15 documented base jumps. If you fall short of those numbers, you must complete the club's rigorous multi-day refresher course before they let you stand on the exit point. My clearest memory of this massif is the heavy silence of the rock. knowing that no guide was going to check my harness or pull my cord. You are entirely responsible for your own survival. If you want to attempt this, you must follow the local legal pathways. Join the club via their official channels, secure specialized extreme sports liability insurance, and limit your travel to the summer window between May and September. Treat this with the gravity it demands, because this is not a casual holiday stunt. Across all 10 experiences, one truth emerges. Commercial does not mean safe. These adventures prove the ultimate barrier is not your fitness. It is your willingness to respect the boundary where fun meets actual danger. Fear is the cost of admission, but humility keeps you alive. Which of these insane trips are you actually brave enough to book? Let us know in the comments.